Welcome to the Adam Josh Oral Blog number 27, I believe. As you may have heard in the last one, my credits seem they got thrown out or whatever, so let's do this together. I'm going to write on the back here. Today is the 24th. Wait a minute. A little ahead of myself. Today is the 17th. 17/03/2011. AJOB 27. There you go. So that's when we started using these credits. See how long we keep these. Have to put them somewhere safe. So thanks everybody for tuning in to AJOB 27, the Adam Josh Oral Blog. And this one today is going to be mostly about current events. I haven't written anything down, and I plan to just discuss some things that are going on, and let's talk about it. Getting right into it, I think the obvious thing would be to talk about Japan. And actually right now, at my workstation, I'm listening to live streaming from Japan's state TV. Is it state TV? NHK World. So it's a bad situation what's going on, and I wouldn't tell you to expect the media to be honest with you, the mainstream media. I'm coming to the conclusion I'm coming to lately about media is that, you know, they have the Republican Party and the Democratic Party and Coke and Pepsi, and they have, you know, one team versus the other, pitting everybody in this us versus them and this versus that. And then when it comes to the mainstream media, now there's the alternative media, the web media, web-based media, alternative media. So try not to get too caught up in one or the other, because just like there's the mainstream media, there's the alternative media, and some people are kind of playing into that whole, well, we're not the mainstream media, we're the alternative media. Yeah, but it's the same, just like in every other analogy that a lot of these people like to use, it's the same bird with two different wings. Especially when the alternative media is being fed disinformation or using their sources. Their sources are questionable. So don't get too caught up in the mainstream or the alternative media. You know, research for yourself if you want to know what's going on, and ask your friends in the local areas. So one thing that a lot of mainstream media isn't reporting right now is that the water in Fukushima, which is 50 miles away from I'm going to turn this off, away from the nuclear power plant. The city of Fukushima has reported that they've detected radioactive levels in their water. So adding insult to injury and adding more injury on top of more injury is the fact that not only is Japan's economy crippled because of what's going on with the earthquakes and the reconstruction. Imagine how an earthquake is one thing, losing all your family and losing the incredible amounts that they've lost is one thing. Another thing is having to rebuild all that, you know, and for a contractor, you know, this is or contracting companies, these are when their eyes get wide, the contracting companies. You know, you might remember those top level meetings that old President Bush Jr. was in, when he was speaking about going into Iraq and these white-collar dinners, talking about, wow, look at all the opportunities that are here, all the opportunity, we're all going to make lots of money. He was talking to, you know, major contractual bidders, and being in the contracting, being a contractor myself, and understanding contracting, you know, people who are in the contracting in business for building and infrastructure, you know, they look at something like this and think, wow, cool, there's a lot of money to be made there, and a lot of jobs, and watch who's making money. I'm not going to say who I think is going to be making a lot of money off of this. Hopefully the Japanese people and Japanese companies, right? We'll see though. So, as I was saying earlier, adding insult to injury is the fact that now the water has been contaminated with radioactivity and nuclear fallout. Not only that, but another thing that the mainstream and alternative media don't seem to be focusing on is that the sea life around the Pacific Ocean and the water and anything that the water comes into contact with in the Pacific Ocean is now polluted with nuclear fallout. Another thing is that these nuclear facilities that they had, not just one, but there's 6 in a row, I believe. There might be at the nuclear power facility in Fukushima. But one thing that they're not really discussing is that the spent nuclear rods, fuel rods, from old reactors, because once they're used and they've outlived their shelf life, need to be kept somewhere for like 400 years before they're safe, whatever that means. So they were storing used nuclear fuel rods in the top of these nuclear facilities that have exploded. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that if you're storing something in the roof of a building and the building explodes, there's going to be quite a lot of nuclear fallout and damage and radiation and all sorts of horrible things. And all that gas and all that nuclear fallout and clouds are going into the jet stream, and the jet stream goes, if you look at a website that would chart the jet stream in that particular area, is it goes from the west to the east and then curls down around central Texas. So the east coast of British Columbia and California is now expected tomorrow to be getting the nuclear fallout clouds from Japan. And just like what happened with Chernobyl, we were able to, not we as in me, because I don't think I was around or alive, but we were able to chart the radiation levels back then, and just like then, they can chart it now. So now you have people like Sanjay Gupta on CNN. Yeah, so I was unsure of the date. It was Chernobyl was 86, and I was born in 81, so you know I was 5 years old, too young to remember. But I heard the stories, and I've looked into it recently, obviously. Where were we? So, the Japan situation. You have people like Sanjay Gupta on CNN saying, look, I'm carrying around this personal radioactive level manager indicator, and you know, let's discuss what acceptable levels of radioactivity are. You know, they'll be on the news saying like, well, you know, depleted uranium, I mean, what's really horrible? I mean, what's really horrible about depleted uranium? I mean, the troops use it. I mean, what's really horrible about, I mean, comparatively speaking, you know, you standing in front of a microwave, you'd come across a lot of this radiation in your life. And I mean, once, as you can see the pattern of the mainstream and alternative media has less information sometimes to go on than the mainstream media, but what ends up happening is they deny until everybody on average is at that common level of, okay, we all know this to be true. And then maybe the mainstream media will say, okay, that, but not that. And then when it's an increasing awareness meter, when everybody gets to that common level of awareness, like, okay, there's nuclear fallout. Okay, there's radiation levels spiking now around Fukushima plant. You know, once that becomes general awareness, then the mainstream media comes out and says, well, okay, you know, so there's some, you know, it's minimal though, and you got these talking heads and people who are paid to lie to you, paid for their jobs are to lie to you, you know, their jobs are to control and restrict the information of free information. You know, and here I am trying to say, like, open your eyes, this is what's really going on, or open your eyes, research for yourself, wake up and look into these things for yourself, don't believe the mainstream media. And you know, we're all sort of trying to do our part, I guess, because even if anybody could explain to you the truth of everything, and this is what we're really talking about, is lies and the truth. If somebody could explain to you the truth of everything, I think 99% of people, first of all, probably wouldn't believe it. The truth of everything. There'd be a great deal of people who would say, you know, we can't tell anybody the truth of everything. Jesus, what are you doing thinking we could explain the truth of everything to anybody? Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my large bank accounts. The truth of everything. Everything? So it's a horrible situation, you know. I've been going to bed these last 5-6 days at night, and honestly, I've been thinking about. I've been thinking, it's not a laughing matter. I'm laughing at the bad joke I just told. I've been thinking about all the people who have died. Like at first with the mainstream media, like I was saying earlier, well, 1,100 people have died. When it's like the small town around the Fukushima plant was what, 10,000 people. Oh yeah, like maybe 1,100 people have died. Maybe, but no more. Okay, once everybody knows that, you know, thousands of people's families have been missing. Okay, well, like thousands of people's families times, you know, 3 families. Okay, so like maybe 1,500 people have gone. You know, it just keeps rising and rising. And I've seen figures at 10,000 people, but even that, it's just the size of one small town. I mean, you're talking a big chunk of the archipelago of Japan. You're talking like a whole big chunk of it. And not only that, but people are fleeing Tokyo, which is however many kilometers south. It's the other side of the island. So, you know, you're talking a lot of damage. So, I've been thinking about all these people who have died recently, and you know, you watch the news, and you can see these horrible stories that the people are telling, and you know, I watch that and think to myself, like, man, these people have families, these people had lives. You know, my life may be a lot less meaningful than their lives. You know, my life may be a lot less productive than a lot of the families of Japanese lives, and maybe on a scale of comparing apples to apples, it would have been better if some of those families had continued on in life than, say, me. So I put myself in their position, and I think, wow, you know, a lot of people have passed away, and some that maybe would be better suited to stay on Earth for, say, another 60 years than me. So I take it all as education, and you know, when that many people on the same Earth as you are passing away in these horrible situations with families, I put myself in their position and think, what would I do if I was there? If I could, I would probably be vacating. I would probably be leaving. And there's only so much you can do in that vein of thought, though, because if you're in a situation where you're stuck in Tokyo or you're stuck in Fukushima and you can't escape, there's sort of limited. What if you can't get out? What if all the roads are packed? What if the infrastructure is physically not there? The airports aren't. You saw an airport on CNN get flushed, in the tsunami. So other things that the mainstream media aren't talking about are all the people who were in 2008 reporting that some top-level people in Japan were threatened by an earthquake regime, saying, if you don't comply and do this and that, we're going to create a man-made earthquake on your island. And I've linked to that in my last blog on the website under, I think it's weather, technology, food and oil, how-to for control seekers. So, do your own research. Coincidentally, the potassium iodide sales are, going through the roof, so if you're an evil type, money-loving, worshipping person, get into buying stocks of these pharmaceutical companies that supply potassium iodide and all these little pills that our North American take-a-pill-to-solve-it culture will be looking for to solve their nuclear problems, because if you're exposed to high levels of uranium or nuclear radiation, you take a pill, potassium iodide, that'll fix you right up. It's ridiculous, but so what we're going to be seeing as a result is increased cancer rates and increased arthritis, Alzheimer's, all these things that happen with age and deteriorating DNA. Like 1,000 years contract in front of a microwave, compacted into a few days. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for anybody. But the thing to be happy about is that we're coming into the last stretches of humanity on Earth, and maybe people have been saying that for 2,000 years, but I don't mean the last stretches of humanity on Earth, but the last stretches of this stage of humanity on Earth. That's what I mean. So, check the news. Start praying. I'm gonna take this phone call. Hold on 1 second. Complete. Alright. Guess it was a fax. Alright, everybody. So that's my AJOB. And I had a dream last night where I was playing this song. I had another dream last night where I was the fill-in drummer for Chevelle. And I'm trying to get on stage, and I'm sweating, and I'm trying to take off my shirt, and my shirt won't come off, so in my dream I'm doing this. They're playing the clincher or something, and I'm trying to, I can't get my shirt off, I just want to sit behind the drums, but it's so hot. And I realized when I woke up that I wouldn't be a very good fill-in drummer for Chevelle, because I don't know enough of their songs. So, thanks everybody for stopping by to watch the Adam Josh oral blog. And if I'm crazy, then you must be sane. So tell your friends to get a job.